Breaking news here first before the Wilderness Camp in North Carolina, where a 12-year-old boy died in February, is appealing a decision by state regulators to revoke its license. WBTV's chief investigative reporter Nick Oxner just broke this story on WBTV.com and joins us now live in the studio with the latest. Nick?
Yeah, John, that camp is Trails, Carolina. 2 children have died there in the last decade, including the 12-year-old boy who died in early February of this year. In May, NCDHHS announced it was permanently revoking the camp's permit to operate. On Monday, the camp filed a petition contesting that decision, saying the state exceeded its authority, used improper procedures, and acted arbitrarily in revoking the camp's license. This move comes weeks after the autopsy came back in the 12-year-old boy's death, finding he suffocated to death after being zipped inside a sleep sack. The autopsy ruled the boy's death a homicide. Now, a spokeswoman for NCDHHS says the agency cannot comment on this pending case. It's currently set to be heard in court later this fall. Meanwhile, we continue standing by for a decision on any criminal charges from the investigators and the prosecutor in Transylvania County, where this camp is located. Back to you.